Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video, and today for Scraptember our prompt is stars. So I'm going all out with this one. There's going to be stars everywhere and I'm very excited. I have this crepe paper background that I had originally bought, I'm pretty sure for Bennett's baby album. I think I had multiples of this, and I had a leftover that I was planning on using for Avery's book and forgot about it. So I'm pulling in a lot of stuff that has been sitting in my stash for a while. I did want a nice kind of solid matte around this paper, so I'm just going for this charcoal gray, and I'm going to matte this star paper over it. I do have one photo here. You'll see there's a scrap of paper over him. There's nothing showing in this picture, but just because it's not my child, I didn't think my sister would want naked Avery on the internet. So that's why he's got a little modesty paper taped over his little baby butt. It's a very cute picture that she wanted the baby album, so I wanted to make sure I documented it. So that was just my workaround so you guys could see the process safely. And so now I have my background matted. I'm just going to double matte the picture with white and then that same charcoal gray from the outside. And that's basically the paper layers on this one. The rest of this is going to be fun embellishment, lots of stars, trying to be creative on how to fill out this background paper with only one photo and not a lot of paper layers. So it takes me a minute to really kind of decide what I wanted to do. I don't know where the idea came from, but I decided I had my charcoal gray embroidery floss still sitting next to me. Or no, I didn't. I had my bag of embroidery floss sitting next to me. I remembered there was a charcoal gray in it. So I tried to get whichever gray was the closest to this background and do some fun stitching detail to kind of fill out some of the space on this one. But one of the things I really wanted to make sure I used is these really fun thickers. I love these silver thickers. They're very perfect for baby themes. I'm pretty sure I went through a whole pack of these for Bennett's baby album, and then I was sent another pack in as Happy Mail to use for Avery, and I'm just so excited that I have them again because they're just the sweetest little baby thicker. I don't use silver a lot, and I love silver, so this was a good cool toned page where I thought silver would be a really nice metallic to include. So I just put my title on the blank space of the photo down there. I just said Huggable. There were already stars on that thicker sheet as well, so that's perfect for the prompt. I went ahead and included the stars within the title the same way they were on the sticker sheet because I really liked how that spacing worked out. But I just know in the back of my head there's plenty of stars on that thicker sheet. I can use that as embellishment towards the end. But my idea that I had, I was really wanting to stitch a star on the background, like a big star across the background. I what happened was I wish I had had a cut file that was a big star, and I didn't. And so my workaround was to kind of create that big shape using stitching. So you can see I'm just taking a scrap piece of kind of my cheap black cardstock that comes in the page protectors and trying to stitch out a star. I wanted it to be pretty uniform, so I went through a couple methods of trying to figure out how to do that, and eventually I kind of just doodled my normal star. And then I realized if I wanted the sides all uniform, I should use the same triangular piece to stencil each corner. So then I went back over my doodle star with my stencil, and then I was like, I need to make sure it's symmetrical. So then I did the whole trick that we all did with the paper hearts in grade school and folded it in half. And then cut it out that way. So at least I knew it would be symmetrical, and then at least I knew my 5 sides would be equal triangles. So it was a big process in my head to figure out how to get this star how I wanted it. But I love this size. I love the shape. I'm actually really proud of myself that it turned out so even. So I'm just very pleased with how it turned out. But I went ahead and just used this little stencil to guide my stitching, and I went around and just pierced a bunch of holes. I kind of just eyeballed it. I think they're a little over a 1/4 inch apart. And now I'm trying to figure out what gray I want to use, but I ended up going with that darker charcoal gray, and that's when I realized I don't think I have enough thread to stitch all the way around this. And then part of me was like, well, what if you just stitched every other stitch? Like you just did a straight stitch all the way around. And so there's gaps between the stitches, how it looks when I do my faux stitching. And so I figured I would have enough thread to do that. I could see how it would look, and then if I really wanted every single stitch done, I could go buy some more thread and go back and do it. But I actually really liked how it looked as it was, had plenty of thread to do it, and it worked out really well. I love this every other stitch stitch shape, and I think it's very clear it's a star. I love the contrast of the dark thread that ties in the dark gray frame. So I'm just very pleased with how it looks, and I'm planning on the photo being in that lower left hand corner. And I'm going through all of my ephemera and pulling out anything that is star related and in my color scheme. So I have a bunch of vellum stars. I'm pretty sure those are from Happy Mail as well. I have a bunch of different size wood veneer stars, which I thought would be nice because everything so far is very cool toned. But the photo itself I feel like is very warm. So I think pulling in the wood veneer kind of warms up some of the other elements within the page. And then I also have some silver ephemera from Heidi Swap that I'd used on a previous page this month, and I thought this would be another good chance to get some of it used up since I'm using the silver thickers. So I'm thinking of using that For Yours acetate piece in the upper right hand corner just so there'd be a little bit interest over there. But I pretty much just want a dense little star heavy cluster by the photo, and that's kind of how I want to complete the page. I don't want to cover too much of the background or my stitch star up, so I'm going to try and keep everything pretty compact, but I want there to be a lot of interest. I want there to be a lot of different stars with different sizes and textures. So I'm really happy to play with this. I pulled in a tag from Ronnie. I'm using that little That Rocked silver ephemera piece from Heidi Swap. Pulled in a glassine bag and doily just because I knew that would add layers without being distracting. So I kind of like how those all look piled on together. And now I'm just figuring out how to layer all these different types of stars. I love the mix and match of textures. So I love the different shapes of the vellum stars paired with the wood veneer, and then I'll go back in with the silver thicker stars, and I just have a lot of fun making my own little constellations on the page. I decided to go in, I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing first. I think I'm just trying to glue down all these little bits and layers, but I was trying to figure out how I wanted to attach the acetate because I didn't want the glue to be seen through the end, and then I realized I'm using silver, so I can use my tiny attacher. I love my tiny attacher so much, but the silvers are, or the staples are silver, so I don't like to use it on a lot of the pages where I'm using a different kind of metallic. I'm pretty sure, I know you can get like gold staples for the tiny attacher, which would be really cool because I feel like I'd use it a lot if I did, but I only have the silver one. So now that I'm doing a page where the metallic is silver, I thought it would be a good chance to get some staples on here, and that's the perfect way to attach acetate in my opinion because you don't have to use any glue. You don't see any of that behind the clear material, and it just works out really well. I am using my Nuvo glue to glue down all these little vellum bits. I love that glue, and you don't really see it through the vellum, so that was nice. I love the Nuvo glue. The Nuvo glue is probably my favorite clear drying glue for sure. I love Tombow Monomulti. That's my go-to. Very strong glue. That's pretty versatile, but it does dry kind of yellow, so I don't like using that on anything where I think the adhesive can be seen. And now that the vellum's down, I'm going through with all the wood veneer stars and just adding them to the mix. I don't want it to look too crowded and too chaotic, but I really am going for that different mix of textures. And because this type of, the stars are my only embellishment I'm using, I think it's okay to pile them on a little bit, but I'm trying to find that balance between full and like overcrowded. So I like the addition of those wood veneer stars, and now I need to add the silver stars to kind of fill out all of the areas. So I'm going to go and add a bunch of those stars as well. I was worried all three of these different types of stars wouldn't go well together, but I think for whatever reason on this page it works, and I'm just loving the background is stars, the ephemera stars, the stitching is a star. So I feel like I did the prompt proud. I'm proud of this one. So I'm done with the thickers. I think I need to go in and glue down the wood veneer ones, and I do want some other kind of embellishment. So I go in for my Tim Holtz word stickers. I figured the white word stickers would add some interest without adding like a focal point. So I just added a couple down there so that it would fill out that other cluster a little bit more. But here are the close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you check out the Scraptember playlist. Everyone's doing daily prompts. I'm not doing it daily, but if there's a video this month, I'm trying to follow along. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.